Okay, we're on section 4.2. We're going to start multiplying matrices. Before we start, we're going to talk about multiplying just regular numbers. So if you had the numbers 2 times 3, is that the same as 3 times 2? Yes, you get 6 on both of them. This was a property that you learned back maybe recently or a long time ago. This is called the commutative property. This works with addition also. So 2 plus 3 is the same as 3 plus 2. They're both 5. This does not work with subtraction. 2 minus 3 is not the same as 3 minus 2. We get negative 1 here and 1 here. It does not work with division either. 10 divided by 5 is not the same as 5 divided by 10. We get 2 here and 1/2 here. So commutative property works with addition and subtraction, it's addition and multiplication, but not subtraction and division. So we're going to now talk about multiplying matrices. When can we multiply them? And multiplication with matrices is not commutative. So let's look at that. Matrix multiplication can only happen if the number of columns of the first matrix is the same as the number of the rows of the second matrix. Let's explain this a little deeper. So if we know the dimensions of the first matrix, we know that we have a 3 by 5 and we have a 5 by 2. We're telling you that this number, the 5 of the columns of the first matrix, must be the same as the rows of the second. So the two middle numbers must be the same. The really cool thing is you will now then know the dimensions of your answer, which are the 2 on the outside. Let's do some so that you can understand what we're talking about. I want you to remember that the order matters. So can we multiply a 2 by 3 and a 2 by 3? The answer is no, because these middle numbers are not the same. Can I multiply a 3 by 3 and a 3 by 3? Yes, we can multiply them because these two numbers are the same. And our answer will be a 3 by 3 matrix because of those numbers that are left over. The last one, a 3 by 2 and a 3 by 2. We cannot multiply these because these middle numbers are not the same. I want you to recognize that we could have added all of these matrices, but we can only multiply one of them. These two we can multiply. This is a 2 by 2 and a 2 by 2. The middle numbers are the same. And if our middle numbers are the same, then these outer numbers will give us our dimensions of our answer. So yes, we can multiply it, and the dimension of the answer will be a 2 by 2. I'm going to color coordinate this so that we can see that, and then I'm going to explain it in a different way also for those of you who need it in a different way. Here's where I'm going to be writing my work for my answer. We have our first row and our first column. We're going to multiply those together. And what we do is when we multiply, we've got all these numbers. So we're going to take the first number here, the 1 and the negative 2, we're going to multiply it. And then we're going to multiply the second numbers going down. We'll add the result. For example, we multiplied the 1 and the negative 2, and we've got right there. Next, we're going to multiply the 2 and the 4, and we'll get this. We will have numbers that go in each of these slots. I have many people who like to see it this way. This is the top left piece, and we're multiplying the top and the left. Let's move on. Let's now multiply and get the answer right here. It will be the top and the right together. So we'll multiply the 1 and the 1 and the 1 and the 3. We will always add them together. Now, a moment ago, we had this green, and we did the first column, then we did the second column. Now, we are going to move this green one down, and we're going to do the bottom of all those. So I will do the bottom one with the first column, and the bottom one with the second column. Let's do the first. All right. So when we multiplied this bottom one with the first, we have a 0 and a -2 right there. The cool thing, that makes 0. And we have -3 times 4. We always add in the center. Now, what am I going to do next? How do I get this piece? There's a couple ways to think of it. This is the bottom right, so I'm multiplying the bottom and the right. Or we've done this row with the first column, now we must do it with the second column. We're going to take that 0 times the 1, and then the -3 times the 3. And here we go. Now we just have to do the rest of the work. -1 times, should be 1 times -2 is -2, plus 8 is 6. So I'm getting a 6. We have 1 times 6, which is going to be 7. We have 0 and -12, which makes -12. And we'll have 0 and -9, which makes -9. We've just done a 2 by 2. Let's move up to a little bit higher. We're going to do a 3 by 2 and a 2 by 3. Let's just check what the dimensions of our answer will be. We know we can multiply it because the middles are the same. And the answer will be a 3 by 3 because of these numbers here. So we'll have 1, 2, 3. We'll do that 3 times. Okay? We're going to color coordinate these so we can see. We're first going to start off with our top, and we'll multiply those two. We'll scoot over, and we'll scoot over. Then we'll go to the middle, and we'll multiply the first, then the second, then the third. We'll move to the bottom, and we'll do the first, then the second, then the third. Let's get started. Here we go. We're going to take that 1 times 1 and 1 times 3. We'll add them together. Now we'll scoot over. This piece will scoot over to the next. We're going to take our 1 times the -2 and add it to the 3 times 0. The nice thing is the 3 times 0 just goes away. And then the red. This red, we've done that one. Now we're going to scoot over to this one. We'll multiply the 1 times the 4 and add it to the 3 times the 3. We have done everything with this top. We did it to the first for here. We did it to the second for here, and the third for here. Now we're going to move on to the bottom one, or the middle one, excuse me. So we're going to do middle. We'll do the 2 times the 1 and the 4 times the 3 and add them together. We're finished with this one. We're going to scoot over. We're going to multiply the 2 times the negative 2 and the 4 times the 0. And the nice thing about the 4 and the 0 is it becomes 0. We're now going to scoot over to here. Two times 4 and 4 times negative 3. We have now done the middle with the left, the middle, and the right for the left, middle, and right. We now have 3 more to do, and we'll do that with the bottom. We have our bottom and our first for the, bottom and left for the bottom left. So we're going to do 0 and 1, which makes 0, that's nice. And then negative 1 and 3. We're now going to do this one. We'll get our bottom middle, because we're doing the bottom and the middle. And we got that by doing 0 with the negative 2 and negative 1 with the 0. Our last one, we're doing the bottom and the left for the bottom left here. 0 and 4. And negative 1 and negative 3, we'll add them together. Now all we're going to do is put it all together. This one will become 1 times 9, 1 plus 9, which is 10. This will be negative 2 and 0 for just negative 2. 4 and negative 9 for a total of negative 5. 2 and 12 to make 14. Negative 4 and 0, the 0 right there, becomes negative 4. 8 and negative 12, and that will be negative 4. 0 and negative 3 for negative 3. 0 and 0 will make 0. And 0 and positive 3 for positive 3. And this is your answer. Let's do numbers 1, 3, and 5. First thing to do is to decide if you really can do the problem. We have rows 1, 2, 3, and columns 2. So this is a 3 by 2. We have 2 rows and 2 columns. So this is a 2 by 2. Yep. We can do this one because those are the same. And the dimensions of our answer are right here. It's going to be a 3 by 2. That helps me know how big to make the answer here. All right, I'm going to make that a little longer, actually. 3 by 2. And I actually like to write the underlines just so I kind of know where things go. You do not have to write all those numbers of what you can just calculate it in your head. I sometimes like to write them over on the side while I'm working for you guys so that you can see what I did. So we're going to do top and left for the top left position there. So I'm going to have my negative 3 and my 6, negative 6, which is 18. So I'll just write that on the side. You can keep that in your head or you can type that in your calculator. And then I'm going to do the negative 3 and the negative 5. So that makes positive 15. Adding those together, I get 33. So it's 33 right here. We're going to stay at the top, but now we're going to move over to the right. So we're going to do this position right there. So I will have -3 and -5, +15. And -3 and 5 makes -15. So we'll add that -15. So we always add. Which will make 0. Now we're going to do, we've done the top, we're done with the top. We're going to move on to middle and first. Then we'll do the middle and second. So here we go, middle first. That'll be right, this position right there. We're going to do the 6 and the -6, makes -36. We're going to add the -5 and -5, which is a +25. When you add those together, we're going to get a -11. We just did the middle and the first. We're going to do middle and second, or middle and, left, right, middle and right, for the middle and right position right here. So here is that one, and we're going to get -30. And 5 and -5. -5 and 5, excuse me, which is, we're going to add the -25. So we're going to get -55. That was, by the way, 25. We're done with the middle. We're going to move on. We've done top with the left and the right, and then we did the middle with the left and the right. Now we're going to do the bottom with the left. I love to see a 0 in there. That makes my life easier. We've got a 2 and a -6 for making -12. And then we have 0 and, doesn't matter, but 0 and -5 for 0. So I'm going to just have a -12 right here. Now we're going to do the bottom with the right. So we're going to have 2 and -5, which makes -10. And we're adding that 0 and 5, which makes 0. That's not right. Something went wrong. Okay, so this is not 12. It was... All right. This 2 and 5 make -10. And then plus 0. So this becomes -10. All right, here is our answer. Let's do another one, number 3. Let's check to see if it's even possible. This is going to be 2 by 3. This is a 2 by 2. Can we multiply these? Are these middle numbers the same? No. So your instructions, if you look on your paper, say that if you cannot multiply them, it's undefined. Right now we're going to work on number 5. Number 5, is this even possible to do? We have, this one right here is a 2 by 3. And this is a 3 by 2. So yes, we can multiply them because the answer's in the middle, and we'll get a 2 by 2 matrix as my answer. So I like to write out my matrix with my lines on them so that we can see them well. So to get this top left answer, we're going to do the top and the left. So I'm going to do the 1 here, that's going to become 2. And then we're going to do, that one will be added negative 15. And then we're going to do the positive 9. That works out to be negative 4. All right, we're still going to stay with the top here, but we're going to move over to the right. All right, so we're going to be doing the top and the right. We're going to do the 1 and the 1, so we can get 1. We're going to move over now and down. We're going to go negative 5 and the 1, which makes, so negative 5 and negative 1, which makes positive 5. And we're going to move over here to those, which is positive 9. So that'll be 10 plus 5 is 15. We'll put that in the standard color that we had for all of them. All right. Now we did the top on both of them. We did the top on the left, and now it's on the right. So we're going to be moving now to the bottom and the right. We're going to work our way over here to the 5 and the 2, negative 5 and 2, which makes 10. Negative 10. We're going to move over and down. We're going to go to the 1 and the 3, which makes 3. And we're going to move now over to the 6 and down to the negative 3 for negative 18. So these two make negative 28, and that makes a negative 25. Last part was right here. That's the bottom right. So we're going to do the bottom and the right. We'll start with the negative 5 and the 1, which makes negative 5. We'll move over here and down to the negative 1, the 1 and the negative 1. And we'll end with the 6 and the negative 3 for negative 18. So this makes negative 23 and negative 24. All right, we have multiplied matrices. It's time to say goodbye. Let's review what we've done. We learned how to multiply two matrices together, and when we were doing that, we realized that the order matters, and not all matrices can be added, should be multiplied, and you need to know your dimensions. Goodbye.